I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to everyone who responded to my request in the previous video. Your warm words, your support, your kindness. It all meant so much to me. Reading your comments was incredibly uplifting, and honestly, they motivated me in a way I really needed. So please, if what I do is important to you, don't hold back your warm words because they are a huge support for me. They help me stay energized. They help me keep sharing what I feel and what I see from the subtle plane, and they help me not burn out. Carrying all of this, processing it emotionally, expressing it verbally, might look like I'm just sitting here talking, but if you try it yourself, you'll see how exhausting it can be, how much it drains emotionally. Your warm feedback fills me back up, so please don't be shy with it. I love you all. Why I'm returning to this topic. Today I want to talk about something many of you asked for. Yes, most people on the channel love hearing about world events and what I sense from the subtle plane. But I always remember those of you who come here not only for news, but for inner work, for self-development, for healing. That is incredibly valuable to me because my mission has always been to help souls wake up, to help them return to themselves, to help them purify themselves from the programs that this world throws to us in layers. So today we will go deeper into the topic of how attachments latch onto us and what deep hooks really are, what hooks are and how they form. I've often spoken about deep hooks, those internal programs formed inside our consciousness that attachments use to pull us through our entire life. These aren't surface level things. A hook is created through a trauma, a specific moment or situation that wounds us inside and leaves a painful reaction behind. It's like a wound that never heals, a sore spot that stays raw forever. There's a saying that physical wounds heal, but soul wounds don't. And that is exactly what these deep hooks are. They usually form in early childhood, and they become the foundation to which the biggest attachments cling. They enter us through our closest people, through people who, in their own childhood, received similar wounds. And now, when they're triggered, they unintentionally pass those traumas onto us. Why these are called childhood traumas? You've probably heard the term childhood trauma. Notice how rarely we hear the phrase adult trauma. Almost never. But everyone knows what a childhood trauma is, and that's because most of these deep hooks come from childhood, from the very first experiences where someone pressed on a painful spot that was pressed on many times before in our parents' lives too. Everything happens through them, and they genuinely think they're doing it for our benefit because their own inner pain distorts their perception. These traumas are created intentionally by the matrix system to keep us controllable, to break the natural connection between soul, body, and consciousness, how the soul is whole at birth. I've talked about this in detail on Boosty and in the Solar Club, about how we disconnect from parts of ourselves. The soul comes into this world whole, with many qualities, many memories, many experiences accumulated from past lives. These qualities shape the template of the new personality side, the child's consciousness that will grow and adapt in this world. So no, we are not born as blank pages. We are born as individuals with a soul that already remembers and carries wisdom. Some people even remember themselves as infants, lying in a stroller, watching adults thinking thoughts that were far too mature for a baby. That is the voice of the soul, early memory and the soul's perception. Children sometimes tell stories about past lives, about countries they lived in, about people they had, about how they came into this incarnation. They speak about it so naturally, because at that age the connection between soul, body, and consciousness is still very strong. But over time, this connection gets damaged, and one of the main tools that damages it is trauma passed through our parents, trauma they experienced, trauma they never healed, trauma their own attachments used to press these same pain points again and again. Eventually, those same pain points are recreated in us. How trauma passes through parents. Parents do this unconsciously. They truly believe they're acting for our good. because their own wounds distort their reactions. But the bigger truth is this: those wounds once were placed in them the same way they are placed in us now, through pressure, through emotional pain, through situations that break something inside. And so the childhood trauma is created, and inside it a hook is born, a hook that forces us to reject a part of ourselves, a natural quality of the soul that we came here with. Trauma forces us to reject our soul qualities. This is one of the most painful realizations. When a childhood trauma forms, it forces us to give up some inner quality, or something that belongs to our soul. Maybe it's our ability to set boundaries, or to speak our desires, or to defend our inner truth, or simply to be ourselves. We don't lose that quality naturally. We are pushed to refuse it. We are told that being ourselves is wrong, that we should be someone else, someone appropriate, someone acceptable. The breaking of the soul-body-mind connection. With every rejected quality, the connection between soul, body, and consciousness tears more and more, because when I refuse a part of my own soul, I tear a part of myself away, and one day I wake up feeling disconnected from myself, living a life shaped by others' expectations, believing I must be anything, anyone, just not myself. That is how we lose connection with who we truly are, how we shift into external approval. When we lose connection to ourselves, we begin depending on the external world. We start following the standards imposed on us by society, by family, by the people who raised us. We believe that if we fit the template, if we follow all the rules, if we become the right version of ourselves, the world will love us, approve of us, accept us. But eventually, when we grow up, we see a painful truth. It doesn't work. Realizing the template was never real. We strive to match a template, believing it is this the key to love and acceptance, and then we crash into reality. That template was never objective, never universal, never true. It was just our parents' subjective view, based on their pain, their illusions, their fears, their unresolved experiences. And those programs, those templates, were passed to us as if they were truth. How attachments infiltrate through these templates. Our parents saw the world through their own wounded filters, and their attachments reinforced those filters. They pass these same filters to us, and attachments use those filters to enter our consciousness as well. They manipulate us through the very same wounds they manipulated in our parents. That's why many people tell me I got rid of surface level attachments. But there's one that never leaves. One that returns again and again. One that won't go away no matter what I say to it. And the reason is always the same. It's sitting on a deep childhood hook. Why some attachments don't leave. So when someone tells me, I tried to push this attachment away, but it keeps coming back, I tell them the truth: if a simple go away doesn't work, then it isn't sitting on the surface. It's anchored deep inside, on a childhood trauma, on a belief, on a pattern of victimhood, on something so old and so painful that the hook goes all the way in. These aren't little hooks, these are massive harpoons. Deep hooks and harpoons. Some attachments latch on the way hunters throw harpoons into whales, long, heavy, deeply embedded, and until the wound beneath is healed, the attachment won't move, it won't leave, it will pretend, it will hide, it will change shape, but it will not go away. Instead, it masks itself as familiar inner patterns. It mimics old childhood situations. It shows up as emotional reactions that feel completely natural because they were planted in us so early. These are called introjects. They are internal images, internal voices, internal emotional memories from childhood traumatic moments. And when we meet an attachment sitting on a hook, we often don't even realize that it is an attachment. We mistake it for ourselves. Introjects and why we can't recognize them. When a deep hook is active, the attachment feels like me. It feels like my own thoughts, my own beliefs, my own emotional reactions. So I start thinking I should be a victim, I should comply, I should stay small, I should be the version of myself I was forced to become. All because long ago, someone told me I must fit a template, not be myself, and many people truly believe they have no trauma at all because the introject keeps whispering everything is fine. You're normal, you don't have any wounds. It says that because it does not want to leave. The illusion of being fully healed. I've seen this so many times in personal sessions lately. People say, I don't have childhood trauma. I listened to your videos. I cleared the attachments. I don't feel anything wrong. But when we actually start the personal work, when we begin to look carefully from the outside, there they are, hooks everywhere, harpoon after harpoon, layer after layer, all hidden underneath. People rarely notice their own wounds, and the attachment actively hides them. Why the attachment hides the trauma? The attachment whispers, you're fine. You have no problems. Nothing is wrong, because if you discover the hook, if you discover the trauma, you will heal it. And then the attachment loses its anchor point. So of course it wants to hide. Therefore, the question we must ask is the key question. What childhood pain still hurts me? What unresolved moment pulls me back? What situations with my parents still make me emotional, even if I think everything was perfect? And here's the pattern, people who say, I had the best childhood ever. I had the best parents. I don't remember anything painful, are often the ones who carry the biggest buried trauma, because memory blocks are one of the strongest signs. When childhood memory disappears, if someone says, I don't remember myself before age 6 or 7 or 9, that's usually a sign that something happened that the psyche tried to erase, not because it didn't happen, but because remembering it would destabilize the child. So the memory was sealed off, the door was locked, and the trauma remained inside. Memory to blocks and hidden trauma. So when a person says, I don't remember anything from early childhood, that is almost always a sign that something painful was there. Something the psyche tried to hide by erasing the memory altogether. But even if we don't remember, that doesn't mean the trauma isn't there. It stays inside, waiting for certain situations to press the same internal button. And the moment something happens in adult life that resembles that old, forgotten situation, the hook gets pulled. How trauma resurfaces through emotional pain. And when it gets pulled, we don't recall the event, we feel the pain. Something inside us erupts. Something tears open, as if the injury is fresh again. We cry not because of the current situation, but because the old wound reacts, the one we can't even consciously remember. This is how the trauma comes back, not as a memory, but as overwhelming emotion. Why the emotional response is so strong. Even if the original childhood moment is completely forgotten, the emotional imprint remains. And when something in the present resembles that original pattern, even just a little, the body reacts instantly. It's like the wound bursts open, the pain spills out, and we don't understand why we react so strongly to something so small. But deep down we are reacting to the original injury, working with deep hooks. So yes, these things must be healed. If you've already worked through surface level hooks, that's great, but deep hooks require deeper work. And I've explained a lot about how to approach them, how to understand what these deep hooks attach to, how to recognize the protective mechanisms that arise when the trauma is touched. Because sometimes the reactions we have, the ones that seem strange or extreme, are actually the trauma defending itself. Understanding your reactions. In the Solar Club and on Telegram, I've talked about these mechanisms, how they show up, what they mean, and how they reveal the exact hook being pulled. And in live streams, now I even show myself on camera, so people can see me directly, so no one can say I'm hiding my face or something like that. Everything is open, transparent, and these explanations help many people understand what specifically inside them is hurting. Future plans for deeper content. And I want to create a whole series of videos on working with deep hooks, because most deep hooks are based on manipulation, and manipulation always uses feelings. So I plan to talk about specific feelings, how they get twisted, how attachments use them, how they become pressure points, and how to recognize the exact mechanism being used against you. Some videos will be about world events, some about inner work, just like now. I'm not abandoning either direction. Why both personal and global topics matter? Both are important, because what happens inside us on the small personal scale is the same pattern that operates in the world at large, the same manipulations, the same hooks, the same illusions show up in society and in global events. When we learn to see these patterns in ourselves, we start seeing them in the world, and once we see them, we can refuse them, detach from them, and step out of manipulation. The deeper work to come. So, in the upcoming videos, I want to talk about the main feelings that deep hooks attach to, why they hurt so much, and how to untangle them. Because these feelings are the foundation of the deepest childhood traumas, the ones that shape who we become, and the ones that attachments use to stay connected. Closing message of this video, and that's everything for today. I hope this video helped you see something new, understand yourself deeper, or find a direction for your next steps in self-work. Please don't forget to leave a comment, a like, a heart, anything that shows your support. It matters more than you think. Support and ways to stay connected. I'll also be grateful for your subscriptions to my Telegram, to the Solar Club, to Boosty, for anyone who wants to support what I'm doing and help me keep working so I can continue helping people. If you have the possibility and if you have the desire, you're welcome to join. There is so much deep material there, a lot of insights, a lot of inner work. What I share in the closed platforms. On Boosty I talk about how we were captured. I share many visions from the subtle plane about the past, about the matrix, about what was really happening behind the scenes. I literally conduct whole investigations on the subtle level, analyzing structures, energies, historical layers, and everything connected to the system we live in. The Solar Club, in turn, is focused more on personal development, on transformation, on deep inner work. The Solar Club as a healing space. The Solar Club was created as a community, a space for self-work, a place where people can come to change themselves deeply. It's like group therapy, but gentler, more soulful, and much more accessible than long-term individual therapy. People transform there, discover inner patterns, shift old beliefs, and see the world with new clarity, with wider, more open eyes, with a deeper understanding of themselves. Why professionals join too. And I'm incredibly happy that many people in the club are psychologists, therapists, people who work professionally with the human psyche. They often tell me that the methods and practices I share match what they already know, and that these tools help reveal deep inner hooks in a very effective way. Hearing that means the world to me. Your feedback, your reflections, your confirmations, they are precious. Please don't underestimate how much it means. So please, my dear ones, don't forget about this. Your comments, your hearts, your support, they truly matter, and I love you all. I hug you all. I appreciate every one of you. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.